Good evening, and we are going to discuss today's civil services prelim examination. I hope all of you have done well. So we'll start. Indus river system. So it is from basic geography. First statement is right. It passes through Ulla Lake in Jammu and Kashmir. Krishna river directly feeds the Koleru Lake. No, this statement is wrong. Krishna river do not directly feeds the Koleru Lake. Next is meandering of Gandak river forms Kannur Lake. This statement is right. So only two of the statements are correct. So B is the answer. Next, consider the following pairs. Kamarjar port, the first major port in India, registered as a company. Next is Mundra port, largest privately owned port in India, and Visakhapatnam port, largest container port in India. How many pairs of the above pairs are correctly matched? Right. So everybody knows that this. So here Mundra port, it is largest privately owned product by Adani. So this statement is second is right and third is right. Visakhapatnam port is the largest container port, that is already everyone knows. So 2 and 3 options are right. So only 2 pairs are right here. Okay. Next question. Consider the following trees: jackfruit, mahua, teak. How many of the above are deciduous trees? What do you mean by deciduous trees? Those who loses their leaves during the winter period, that is deciduous trees. So jackfruit is not a deciduous tree. It is it's a tropical tree, right? So it's not a deciduous tree. It do not even the leaves are present even during the winter season. So only 2 and 3 options are right. So how many of the above are deciduous trees? Here only 2, mahua and so here 2 and 3 options. So only 2 options are right here. 2 and 3 are right. Okay. B option is right because jackfruit is a tropical tree and there is no. Do not leave all the trees during the winter season. Next is, consider the following statements. India has more arable land than China. The proportion of irrigated area is more in India as compared to China. The average productivity per hectare in India agriculture is higher than that of China. Obviously, by logic, you can say that third statement is wrong. Why? Because China is technological more advanced as compared to India. So obviously, as the technological more advanced, that's why there will be higher productivity. So third statement is wrong, and first statement is right. India has more arable area than China. India is an agricultural country. Primarily, most of the people are dependent on agriculture, and the proportion of irrigated area is more in India as compared to China. Okay. Second statement is also right. So here only 2 statements are right. B is the answer. Only 2 statements are right. Right. So by logic, you can say the third statement is wrong because obviously we know that China has at least. You may be confused whether you may know that this India has a arable area than China or not, but at least you know that this third statement is wrong. So all the 3 options can never be here. B option is so only 2 options are right. Next question. Which one of the following is the best example of repeated falls in sea level, giving rise to present day extensive marshland? What do you mean by marshland? Marshland means where the water level is low water level, and it is a repeated falls in the sea level. There is a fall in sea level as well. And in which area we witness this fall in sea level? Is it Vitarkanika mangroves? No, because in the Kendrapada district recently, government of Odisha has made a scheme also because rise of sea level. So first statement is wrong, if you know this. Next is Marakanam salt pans Nuapada swamp. It is actually, this is Ryan of Kutch, Gujarat. So D is the answer. Ryan of Kutch region of Gujarat, where we have Gir forest. There is we witness marshy lands in Gujarat. Okay. Next. Limonite and rutile abundantly available in certain coastal tracts of India are rich sources of which of the following? They are not aluminium, because aluminium is generally from bauxite. Generally we found aluminium in the in hilly areas. Iron is also in hilly areas. Here answer is titanium. D is the answer. Okay, titanium is found in the coastal areas. It is basic geography, economic geography. D is the answer. Next, about fourth of world's cobalt, a metal required for the manufacture of batteries, electric motor vehicles, is produced by whom? It is produced by Argentina, Botswana, or Democratic Republic of Congo, or Kazakhstan. This news came in 2020, but they have asked it, and here answer is Democratic Republic of Congo. Congo produces almost 60% of the materials, right? Congo almost produces 60% of metal required to manufacture the batteries, right? Required to manufacture batteries, because cobalt is highly used in production of batteries. So C is the answer. It came in 2020. This news, you may see this news in UPSC website, various UPSC websites in 2020, then 2022 as well. So which one of the following is a part of Congo Basin? Cameroon Basin, Nigeria, South Sudan, or Uganda? Following the part of Congo Basin, if you count, it is Cameroon Basin, Nigeria, or South Sudan, or Uganda. Your answer is Cameroon Basin. You may see the map. It is nearer the Congo. So A is answer. Consider the following statements. Amarkantak hills are confluence of Vindhya and Sahyadri ranges. Biligiri-Rangan hills are constitutes the easternmost parts of Satpura range. Sisachalam hills constitute the southernmost part of Western Ghats. Here, how can you solve this question by logic? See, anytime UPSC, it's a common trend when UPSC gives some facts, then generally it is very easy to change the facts. It is very easy to give a wrong statement, right? So generally whenever UPSC gives some particular facts, generally they are wrong. So here all the options are wrong. Neither Sisachalam is southernmost part, all the options are wrong. By that logic we can say how many are correct? None of these are correct, because here all are facts. Whenever you see facts, because UPSC generally give those statements are wrong when they are facts. So D is wrong. So none of them are wrong, all are the facts. Then with reference to India's projects on connectivity, consider the following statements. East West corridor under Golden Quadrilateral project connects Dibrugarh and Surat. Trilateral highway connects Moreh in Manipur and Chiang Mai in Thailand via Myanmar. Bangladesh, China, India, Myanmar economic corridor connects Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh with Kunming in China. These all three are facts. With the same logic, I am saying you that all the three options are yes. You can join Vanik as a day scholar for this year, no issues. And the batch is going to be started. Mr. Suryakant Swami, you can join it. Okay. So the logic is simply, even if this question also you can solve by logic. Here, as all of them are facts, so generally here all of them are wrong. It is easy, so it is answer is D. UPSC repeated the same logic formula here also. Next question. Generally we will discuss here, because the facts you can check by internet, the facts verify easily. But generally we will discuss here the logic. How can you solve the questions by applying logic? Consider the following statement. Statement 1, India despite having uranium deposits depend on coal for most of its electricity production, right? Yes, India is importing also, India is at present, most of its electricity production in India depends on coal, it is right. Uranium enriched to the extent at least 60% is required for the production of electricity. This is wrong. At least 5%, even if the uranium enrichment is 5%, again this is a fact, right, 60%. So here it is also wrong, because it is easier to change the digit. It is 5%, if they make it 60%. So this statement is also wrong, right? And we know that for India is the largest source of is thermonuclear plants, and where we use coal, right? So C option is the statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is incorrect, C is the answer. Whenever you see the digits or a particular facts, you just assume that this is wrong. I have shown you 3 questions based on facts, they are wrong, right? Next question, consider the following statement. Statement 1, marsupials are not naturally found in India. Marsupials are thrive only in mountain grasslands with no predators, right? Whenever you see only, then chances that they are wrong. This word only statements, whenever you see only, then high chances that their statements are wrong. And you have never heard of marsupials, that's why the statement 1, it may be correct, but as it is only found in this mountain grassland, it can never found anywhere. So whenever you see only, all, in all are find, or endemic this particular area, just all, and steadily, only, all, right? Any polarized statement, such statements are wrong. So statement 1 is correct, because we have never heard of this. So C answer is the right answer, right? So statement 1 is correct, it is not found in India, it is, and as there is only, it is written, so statement 2 is wrong. So C is the answer, okay. Next is invasive species. Invasive species specialist group that develops global invasive species database belongs to which one of the following organization? The International Union for Conservation of Nature, it is especially the IUCN, the United Nations Environmental Program, United Nations World Commission for Environment and Development, Worldwide Fund for Nature, right? Generally, if there is a particular initiative by major organizations, generally we get in their news. United Nations Environmental Program is a major organization. This United Nations World Commission for Environment and Department, usually it is not a major organization, and so C statement is eliminated. Then so here generally answer is IUCN, because it is a fact based question. IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature, it is established in 1948, and especially IUCN was predominantly, it was focusing on the endemic species, or for example endangered species, vulnerable species. So here answer is also A, it is a step taken by IUCN, okay. Next, consider the following following fauna: lion-tail macaque, Malabar civet, sambar deer. How many of the above are usually generally nocturnal, as usually nocturnal or most active after sunset, okay. So sambar deer is a deer, it is not, general deers are not active after sunset. So 1 and 2, so only 2 options are the right. Malabar civet and lion-tail macaque, you have maybe you have seen lion-tail macaque, it's like a, so 1 and 2 options will be, that will be right. So 2 only is the, B is the answer, okay. Next is, which one of the following organisms perform waggle dance for others, other keen to indicate that the direction and distance to a source of their food. So this dance right, to indicate the direction and distance to a source of their food, it is usually the honeybees, right? C is the answer. They perform Waggle dance. Honeybees perform Waggle dance. C is the answer. In such question, we cannot apply logic. It based on only knowledge on generally. Yes, so your C is the answer. Factual questions. Next is consider the following statement. Some mushrooms have medicinal properties. Some mushrooms have psychoactive properties. Some mushrooms have insecticidal properties. Some mushrooms have bioluminescent properties, right? It is a very easy questions, okay. Yes, it is possible. Anybody can join. There is online mode of coaching also. There is offline mode of coaching also. There are different batches, and you can join at any time, even during the preparation, because in Delhi also most of the students are now preparing UPSC during their graduation, right? Because it is the best time to prepare. During graduation, just complete your coaching studies, and after graduation you may appear for the exam, right? That's the best way to do that. So you may join at any time. You may call, and when the respective batch starts, it will be informed to you. Consider the following statements. Some mushrooms have medicinal properties. It's a very good question. It's a very easy question. If you have done this question wrong, then seriously you must learn to study, right? Must learn to know the techniques, how to solve the questions. Some mushrooms have medicinal properties. Some mushrooms have psychoactive properties. Some mushrooms have insecticidal properties. Some mushrooms have bioluminescent properties, right? Whenever you use the word some, then generally some, might, can, then generally those statements are right. Like I have said, only, all, they are wrong. Similarly, whenever you see some, then generally those statements are right, because it is very difficult to prove, because there are so many mushrooms in the world. It is very difficult for UPSC to prove that this mushroom, it don't have any medicinal properties, or UPSC has not studied all the mushrooms. So some mushrooms may have medicinal properties, obviously. It is very difficult to prove that this particular medicine don't have any medicinal properties. So whenever you see some applications, or the particularly the word some is used, then those statements will be obviously right. So whenever you see some, here all are same, all are some, so all the four are right. All the four are right. Bioluminescent properties, insecticidal properties means they will insects will stay away from it. Or psychoactive properties, yes, some are used in drugs, you may know it, right? So obviously all the options are right. It's very easy questions, and you must have done it right, I assume. Next is consider the following statements regarding the Indian squirrels. Okay, they build nests by making burrows in the ground. They store their food materials like nuts and seeds in the ground. They are omnivorous. That means both veg and non-veg. This statement is common. You may have observed them, and also if first statement is right, obviously second statement will be right. If first statement is right, then obviously second statement is right. So there is at least two options are right. So either you have, so this non-option is, this can never happen. Either, so one option is also can never happen. It is only two or all the three. Even if you are confused between these two things, you must appear this question, because there will be chances of 50-50. So the chances that you will get, so whenever you are just eliminating two options, you must appear that question, right? So here all the three options are right. They are omnivorous. They can, the squirrels they can have the meat as well, other animals or species. So next question. Consider the following statements. Some microorganisms, see again the same logic here you have to apply also. Some microorganisms can grow in environments with temperature, boiling point of water. Yes, why not? Because there is some. Simply, some microorganisms can grow in environments with temperature below the freezing point. Yes, there may be some microorganisms, because UPSC has not studied all the microorganisms in this world. So obviously there are chances that maybe there are one or two microorganisms or types of microorganisms they are present who can survive even below the freezing point of water. Some microorganisms can grow highly acidic environment. Yes, they can be below highly acidic environment, because oxidation can also happen, right? Just by increasing the acidity, you cannot say that these microorganisms will not survive there. So all the options are right because there is some. The word some makes here right here. So logic applies everywhere. All the three options are right here. Which of the following makes a tool with a stick? Scrape insects from hole in a tree or a long log of wood. Makes a tool with a stick. Okay. So insects from a hole or tree of, yes. So generally you can apply the logic here. Orang-utan, it's obviously it has maximum link with the human being. So obviously its cognitive capacity is more. You can apply logic here. Stick to scrape insects from a hole, right? To get insects from a hole, obviously, if any species has high mental capacity, it is orangutan. So B is the answer. Other species do not have that much of idea. So B is the answer. Consider the following statement: aerosol foam agents. Yes, sir. From which state? You can contact, there is phone number in the website. If you have any queries regarding the admissions, you can query in the call to the websites. Okay. Okay. Next is consider the following statements. This is also you can solve this by logic also. For example, aerosols, foam agents, fire retardants. We consider the following statements: aerosols, foam agents, fire retardants, lubricants. In the making of how many of the above hydrochlorofluorocarbons used? See, first of all, we do not create aerosols. Automatically it emits. It emits from various vehicular emission. One of the vehicular emission, these are very particles in the air medium. So we don't manufacture aerosols. So this is wrong. We are not making it. It is automatically get produced. So first statement is wrong. First option is wrong. Rest, in foam agent, fire retardants and lubricants, these are some productions, and in some productions there is chances that there will be some amount of hydrochlorocarbons. So the true and three options are right. So there are three options are right: foam agents, fire retardants and lubricants. Three options are right. Okay, C is the answer. Consider the following statement. Statement 1. Interest income from deposits of infrastructure investment trusts distributed to their investors is exempted from tax, but dividend is taxable. InvITs are recognized as borrowers under the Securitization and Reconstruction of Financial Assets and Enforcement Security Interest Act 2002. Which of the following statements are correct with respect to the above statements? Interest income from deposits, infrastructure investment trust. So this is a trust. Generally all the trust, if you generally in case of trust, the taxes are they are exempted from taxes, right? So first statement is right. But dividend is taxable. Dividend is when you invest a particular amount of money and you get in return for that. Initial investment is called as dividend. So first statement is right. Second statement recognizes borrowers under the Financial Enforcement of Security Interest Act, reconstruction of financial assets. So yes, if you are getting money, then obviously trust means their considerers are borrowers, right? If you are getting money, you are expected that you will invest that money. If you are not investing that money, so if you are getting money, you have certain liability, you have to do a particular work, right? So you will consider as are borrowers as you are taking the money. So both 1 and statements are correct, but the thing is that statement 2 is not the correct explanation for this statement 1, because these two statements are talking about different things. First statement is talking whether it is taxable or not. Second statement is taking that whether you are a borrower or not. If you are taking the money, whether you will be considered as borrower or not. You will consider as a borrower because you have to do particular certain responsibilities. For a particular purpose, you are taking the money. So both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, but statement 2 is not the correct explanation of statement 1. In the post-pandemic recent past, many central banks worldwide has carried out interest rate hikes. Statement 2, central banks generally assume that they have the ability to counteract the rising consumer prices via monetary policy means. Which of the following statements are correct? Or see, first thing is that in post-pandemic recent past, many central bank worldwide has carried out interest rate hikes. No, we cannot say that. Interest rate hikes, they have not increased the interest rate. Why? Because generally when economies goes down or the growth reduces, generally central banks are forced, generally pressurized to increase to reduce the interest rate. Why? Because if they will reduce the interest rate, then there many funds will come. So in post-pandemic time, we need higher investment public expenditure, because only public expenditure can can help you for economic growth, right? If the public expenditure is reduced, then we cannot grow. For example, in case of India, in post-pandemic time, government has declared investment of 10 lakh crore. Why? Because you need higher public investment, and if you need higher public investment, so definitely interest rate of banks need to be reduced, right? But it is saying that interest rate hikes, so first statement is wrong. Okay. Central banks assume that they have the ability to counteract the rising consumer prices by monetary policy means. Yes, because by monetary policy means they can control the prices. Especially our monetary policy committee, which is a 6-member committee, the prime responsibility of monetary policy committee, MPC, is to control the inflation. So obviously second statement is right. So statement 1 is incorrect and statement 2 is correct. D is the answer. Next question is carbon markets. Carbon markets are likely to one of the most widespread tools in the fight against climate change. Carbon market transfer resources from private sector to the state. Which of the following statement is correct and what is incorrect? See, first statement is right. It is against carbon markets, that means first statement is right. Carbon markets transfer resources from private sector to the state. No, because private sector only gives in the dimension of taxes. Private sector has no liability regarding their carbon, how much carbon they are emitting. Based on that, they will not pay to the government. They will have to take certain measures to reduce the carbon emission, but they never transfer resources from. So these carbon markets, they do not have any power to transfer resources from private sector to the state, because in constitution only taxes can be collected according to the according to the authority by law, right? So according as per the constitution, as per the fiscal policy of the government. So how can a particular market transfer resources from private sector to the state? There are some institutions, global institutions, they are getting the money from private sectors and transferring to the state, but this cannot done by the carbon market. So statement 2 is obviously wrong and statement 1 is right. You can just apply the basic logic. So C is the answer, right is right. Next, question number 24. Which of the following activities of Reserve Bank of India is considered to be a part of sterilization? This is a previous year question. You must see previous year question. It is again getting repeated. Obviously, it is open market operation. Basic economics. A is answer. Open market sterilization means open market operation. You may release some government securities whenever there is higher inflation, and whenever there is lower inflation, you may release the fund from the government. So obviously, C is the answer. That is called as open market operation. That is called as sterilization. It has no relationship with the payment system. This is wrong. Debt and cash management for the central and state government. This is wrong. This is fiscal policy. It has nothing as related to RBI. Simply, it is a RBI will deal with the monetary policy. So no relationship with fiscal policy. Next is regulating the functions of non-banking financial institutions. No, this is also wrong because they generally NBFCs are regulated by the Companies Act, not according to the RBI. Some certain regulation is controlled by RBI Act. But sterilization, it is a process of open market operations. It is basic economics. So 24A is the answer. Next question number 25. Consider the following statements. Consider the following markets: government bond market, call money market, treasury bills and stock market. How many of the above are included in the capital markets? Where you will get capital? Obviously, stock market will give you capital. This is right. Then government bond market, call money market or treasury bill market. Treasury bill market, it is a capital market. So only two options will be the right. 25B is the answer. Right, stock market is capital. Also treasury bill, government issued government securities. So that's also a market, capital market. Which of the following best describes the concept of small farmer, larger field? Small farmer, larger field. Right. Settlement of a large number of people uprooted from their countries due to war. By giving them a large cultivable land, they cultivate collectively and share of produce. This statement is wrong. Why this is wrong? There is no mention of it's not a policy generally. We are not giving a particular community land to any such. Government is not giving any such land to the people of any refugees. So first option is obviously wrong. Many marginal farmers in an area organize themselves into harmonized selected agricultural operations. This may be possible. They can collectively do something operations. So small farmer, the land is not increasing, but it has small farmer but larger field. Field means when it works in many fields. So generally B option may be right. Then many marginal farmers in an area together make a contract with a corporate body and surrender their land. So when you give a corporate body, that is not your field, that is the field of corporate. So simply by logic, third statement is completely wrong. A company extends loan, technical knowledge and material inputs to a number of small farmers in that area so that they produce higher agricultural community required to the company. Company extend loans, technical knowledge to a farmers. So the second part, that is larger field, this do not satisfy. First may be right. So in this statement there is no mention of the small farmers. It may be there is no mention of small, yes, and there is no mention of this larger field. Thus criteria is not getting satisfied. Small farmers, that is right, but how it is happening larger field? You just have to observe the phrase, even if you don't know anything about the answer, still you can answer it. So obviously, many marginal farmers, this option suits the most, right? By logic, you can answer this question. So 26, it is B. Next is question number 27. The government of India provides minimum support price for Niger Gujotia seeds. Niger is cultivated as a kharif crop. Some tribal people in India use Niger seeds oil for cooking. Okay. So, as this is some, so this answer is right because this is some. Next is, as first statement is right, non-option can never happen. So, next is, you have only one or only two. Now, the government of India provides minimum support price for the Niger seeds. This Niger seeds cultivated as a kharif crop. Okay. So now you have, so here you have only one or only two or all the three. Here all of them are right. It is government of India has given MSP, minimum support price. So that was in news. Here 1, 2, 3 all the options are right. Only one option can be eliminated here. Next is consider the investments in the following assets. Investments in the following assets, that is brand recognition, inventory, intellectual property, mailing list of clients. How many of them are considered as intangible investments? Intangible investments. So it is brand recognition, yes, it is intangible because recognition do not have any physical form. So this is right. Then intellectual property, it does not have any physical form. Mailing list of clients do not have generally. These all are intangible. That means that will be there for a long time. So inventory is also intangible investment. All the four will be right here, right? 28D will be the answer. Next is, consider the following statements: demographic performance, forest ecology, governance reform, stable government, and tax and fiscal efforts. Which of the following for the horizontal tax devolution, the 15th Finance Commission used how many of the above criteria other than population area? It's a question based on logic, right? The 15th Finance Commission. 15th Finance Commission, generally they are talking about tax devolution. Tax devolution means how much money you should devolve to which state. We have a asymmetric federalism, different state sizes are different. So on which criteria generally we should, central government should give money to the other states, that is what we call as tax devolution, and that recommendation is given by Finance Commission under Article 280, and that recommendation is not mandatory, it is up to the government whether to accept or reject. This time 15th Finance Commission has accorded 41% of tax devolution to the states. Okay. So here demographic performance. Demographic performance, that it should be a criteria. Forest and ecology should be a criteria. Governance reforms, stable government, tax and fiscal efforts. These two can never be the criteria. Just because there is political stability, do you think that government will pay less or more, will give less or more money? No, simply answer is no. That cannot be a criteria. Generally will address it whether there is, that depends on, generally the purpose of this to balance the symmetry among the states. So stable government and tax and fiscal efforts, how the states are imposing taxes, that cannot be the criteria of 15th Finance Commission. Next, governance reforms. How many reforms you have done? How many reforms you have done? Is that should be a criteria? Because the prime target is who is underdeveloped, and based on that tax devolution will be done. So how much effort a state is giving, or what are the governance reforms the state is doing, that can never be the criteria. 3 and 5, that can be eliminated with the same logic. Stable government, that can never be criteria, otherwise always a stable, suppose Odisha has stable government. So whether we pay more or pay less, this can never be a criteria. Because doesn't matter is stable government or unstable government, almost the growth rate remains same. Generally it is underdevelopment. First is demographic performance, this is right. How the demography is performing, what is the literacy level, what is the skill level. Based on that there will be whether the state will develop or not. Next is forest and ecology, this is a criteria. It is set by the Finance Commission, 14th Finance Commission as well, because this criteria will force the states to go for environmental friendly. So forest and ecology is also a part. So two option, forest and ecology, it's a part. One more thing, yes, this governance reforms will be added. It is there, you may see the 15th Finance Commission reports. These statements will go, this is added, governance reforms will be added, yes. This will be added, this was mentioned. So then only 3 options will be right, only 3 will be right. Stable government and fiscal efforts, that will not be calculated while doing the tax devolution by Finance Commission. Okay. Next, consider the following statements. Following infrastructure sectors: affordable housing, mass rapid transport, healthcare, renewable energy. How many of the above UNOPs, sustainable investment of infrastructure and innovation initiative, focus on for its investments? Generally investments should be for sustainable investment, that is for regarding, so especially it is for sustainable investment in infrastructure, right? Sustainable for it, that means at the same time we will develop infrastructure plus we will focus on the environment, right? Affordable housing, if you have affordable housing, your environment will be, there will be better sanitation, so obviously the environment will be better. Next is, so these are the key words. First is investment, sustainable investment, that is for environment. Second is infrastructure development. So mass rapid transport, this is infrastructure development, and mass rapid transport also, that reduces the environmental pollution. So second statement is right. Next is healthcare. Okay. Next is healthcare. Is there any direct relationship between healthcare development and environment? They two are separated, right? Environment and healthcare, they two are separated thing. So this cannot be the answer. Renewable energy, that will directly work to the environment. You should not answer, you should not think so much while answering the question, because overthinking will make you wrong, because everything is related to everything, right? So if that answer is fit directly, then you should answer. You should not think so much. So 1 to 4, here only 3C is the answer with respect to this regarding the sustainable investment in infrastructure. So C is the answer. In essence, what the due process of law means? Due process of law is a principle of natural justice. No, it's not talking about natural justice. Principle of natural justice means you should not give statements against you, you must be hard. That is not due process of law. Just by giving that you can say it against it, defend yourself. That is natural justice, right? that cannot be called as due process of law. It's a broader meaning. The meaning is broad. Then procedure established of law. They both are not same. Then fair application of law or equality before law. So here it is, fair application of law is the answer. Fair application of law. Fair application means, when you say fair, that means for everybody law should be, the process of jurisdiction should be equal. That is called as fair application of law. So C is the answer. Equality before law is also a part, but that it will be more appropriate. Next is, consider the following statements. Statement 1, in India prisons are managed by state governments with their own rules and regulations. And day-to-day administration in the prisons, yes, obviously prisons are managed by state governments, this is right. First statement is right, obviously. In India, prisons are governed by the Prisons Act 1894, which expressively kept the subject of prisons under the control of provincial governments. Yes, because at that time it was under the provincial governments, even today it is under the state government. So second statement, because we have inherited that same procedure, even today we have the same CRPC, same IPC, same. So the criminal jurisprudence are generally not changed. So both statements are right, and so both statement 1 and 2 are correct, and statement 2 is the correct explanation of statement 1. First option is right. Which one of the following statements best reflects the chief purpose of the constitution of a country? Chief purpose of the constitution of a country. It determines the objective for the making of necessary laws. Determines the objective for the making of necessary laws. It enables the creation of political officers and government. This cannot be the purpose of constitution. Constitution has a broader meaning. It is not very specific. It defines the limits of the powers of the government. It secures social justice, social equality, and social security. Constitution is not only for social justice, social equality, and social security. You can apply logic. This statement is wrong. It defines and limits the power of the government. That's why Constitution is there. Why? What is the soul of the Constitution? It is the fundamental rights. Why fundamentals are the soul of the Constitution? Because it restricts the states. So basically, it defines what are the powers of the government. Generally, it is mentioned in the Constitution, and also limits the Constitution. Here it is especially giving the limits. The limits refers to the fundamental rights, because fundamental rights is said as the soul of the Constitution. So C is the answer. That is the best for the chief purpose of the Constitution is C. In India, which of the following constitutional amendments was widely believed to be enacted to overcome the judicial interpretation of the fundamental rights? Judicial interpretation of the fundamental rights. It is first amendment, 42nd amendment, or 44th amendment, or 86th amendment. It is called 42nd amendment. It is called as because this is brought by Indira Gandhi in 1976. So B is the answer. Okay. Next, consider the following statements. Consider the following organization or bodies in India: the National Commission for Backward Classes, the National Human Rights Commission, National Law Commission, National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission. Which of the following statements are constitutional bodies? How many of them among the constitutional bodies? It's an obvious question. Many times they ask question from bodies, and obviously National Commission for Backward Classes, this is a right. This is a constitutional body. All others, NHRC, Law Commission, all others are not constitutional body because they are not mentioned in the Constitution. These are statutory bodies. Law Commission, it's not a statutory body even. It's just a commission established few times. It's not a particular body. It's a commission. Always the commission has generally National Law Commission. So that is It established for up to within a few years of gap. So first statement is obviously clear. You can see it is a constitutional body. So A option is right answer. Then consider the following statements. If election of the President of India is declared void by the Supreme Court of India, all acts done by him or her in the performance of his duties of his or her office of the President before the date of decision becomes invalid. Election of the post of President in India can be postponed on the ground that some legislative assemblies have been dissolved and elections are yet to take place. When a bill is presented to the President in India, the Constitution prescribes the time limits within which he or she has to declare his assents. So, what are the options are right here? You may see the second statement is right. Why? Because there is a mention I have seen that can be postponed. It is right. Election of the President, yes. Declared by void of the Supreme Court of India. If all acts done by him, yes. All acts done by him is invalid. If the President post is invalid, then all acts done by him is invalid because he is not a President. So this statement is right. So generally Constitution has time limits within which he has to declare his assent. So 1, 2, 3, all the three options will be right. Okay. This statement, third statement, there is no time limit actually. Sorry, this is in case of third statement, there is no time limit, not mentioned because there is pocket veto. Can be postponed? Yes, it can be postponed. But in case of first statement, all the acts done by him in the performance of the duties of the office before the decision becomes invalid. See in here there is all, we can observe all, then generally statement is wrong. The election of the post of President can be postponed. Yes, it can be postponed in this ground. So only two options will be the right answer. B is, sorry, it is only one option will be the right answer. A is the right answer. Next question. With reference to finance bill, consider the finance bill and money bill. The Indian Parliament consider the following statement. When Lok Sabha transfers the bill to Rajya Sabha, it can amend or reject the bill. Yes, it can amend or reject the bill. It can do it, but that will not be accepted. When Lok Sabha transfers money bill to Rajya Sabha, it cannot finance bill, yes, finance bill can be amend or reject the bill. When Lok Sabha transfers money bill to the Rajya Sabha, it cannot amend or reject the bill, it can only make the recommendations, yes. It can make recommendations, it cannot reject a money bill. Rajya Sabha don't have any power regarding money bill. In case of disagreement between the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, there is no joint sitting, yes. Joint sitting can only be in the case of ordinary bill, not in case of money bill or constitutional bill. So all the statements, all the statements are correct. Joint sitting cannot be concluded in case of ordinary money bill and constitutional bill. So these are very previous. This is also similar to the previous questions. All the three are right. Then consider the following statements. One, the central government notifies an area community reserve. Community reserve. The chief wildlife warden of the state becomes the governing authority of such forest. Hunting is not allowed in such area. People of such area are allowed to collect non-timber forest produce. Yes, they are always allowed, right? In community reserves, only in case of national park there is restriction, not in community reserves or in sanctuaries. So this statement is obviously wrong, right? It is obviously right. People of such areas are allowed to traditional agriculture practices. Traditional agriculture practices, that is also allowed. 3 and 4 is allowed, obviously. hunting is not allowed in such area. No, traditional people they can make hunting, local people they can make hunting unless that threatens the biodiversity. So, see, it is not about wildlife. So, first statement is obviously wrong. It's not about wildlife. It's about the forest or community reserve. So, 3 and 4. So, this 3 and 4 are right. So, only 2 options are right. B is the answer. Only 2 options are right. With reference to scheduled areas in India, consider the following statements. Within a state, the notification of an area as a scheduled area takes place through an order of the President. The largest administrative unit referring to scheduled areas is district and lowest is the cluster of villages in the block. The chief minister of the concerned state is required to submit Home Ministry the administration of the scheduled areas in the states. So, which of the following statements is right regarding scheduled areas? First statement is obviously right. Notification, President has to give the notification, and general, not the chief ministers, it is the chief minister will not submit the Home Ministry, it is the governor that will report to the. So, second statement is right and third statement is wrong. Chief minister, general chief minister will not make any submission to Home Ministry. So, only 2 options will be the right answer. 39 is B. Okay. Next answer. Consider the following statements. The Supreme Court of India has held that in some judgments that the reservation policies made under Article 16(4) of the Constitution, India would be limited by Article 335 for maintenance and efficacy in the administration. Article 335 of the Constitution defines the term efficacy of the administration. Generally, whenever you see Constitution defines this, Constitution defines this, Constitution do not define every little things. Even do not define what is minority. So, generally this statement, this second statement is wrong. It do not defines anything like efficacy. First statement is right because there is audit also you have seen. So, obviously even this second statement is right. If this second statement is wrong, then this option is eliminated. This can never happen. This can never happen. This can never happen. So only C is the answer. C is the answer, right? Because Supreme Court said that yes, it will be limited. Reservation process generally in case of transfer, in case of promotion, they will consider the efficacy term as well. So that can be limited. Of the Constitution of India would be limited. Yes, it will be limited. So C option will be the right answer. In which one of the following regions the Dhanya Kataka flourished as a prominent Buddhist center under the Mahasanghikas? Mahasanghikas. What are the regions? Here it is ancient. It is your ancient India. It is Andhra regions. So A is the answer. Mahasanghikas. A is the answer. With reference to the ancient India, consider the following statements. The concept of stupa is Buddhist in a region. Yes. Stupa is generally a repository of relics. A repository of relics. Stupa is as a votive and commemorative structure. Yes, all the 3 option statements are right. Stupas, Buddhist stupas. Obviously, stupa culture started from itself the Buddhism. And a commemorative structure of Buddhist tradition. Yes, it's a structure of Buddhist tradition. So, all the 3 options are right. With reference to ancient South India, Korkai, Pumpuhar and Muchiri were well known as capital cities or ports, centers of iron and steel making, shrine of Jaina Tirthankars. These are ports, right? These are ports. B is the answer. Which of the following explains? That is, you cannot solve it by logic, you have to go for the facts. That's why I have not explained it. Next is, which one of the following explains the practice of Bhatta Kirutal as mentioned in Sangam poems? Sangam literature, the question is about Sangam literature of ancient India. Kings employing women bodyguards, it was not a common practice in case of India. So this statement is wrong. It's not a practice in case of India. It was a practice of Gaddafi. Lone persons assembling in royal courts, learning, discuss religious and philosophical matters, this may happen. Young girls keeping watch over agricultural fields, no, this is not a practice generally. Young girls driving our birds and animals. King defeated in battle committing ritual suicide by starving himself to the death. Yes, this is what Bhatta Kirutal, it is the Sangam poems. King when defeated, they may fast and up to death. So D of D is the answer. That is Bhatta Kirutal. Consider the following dynasties: Hoysala, Dhavala, Kakatiya and Yadava. How many of the above dynasties established their kingdoms in early 18th century AD? Early 18th century AD. Who have done it? Again, it's a very factual question. So generally here none of them are done it in early century AD, early 8th century AD. Yes, they all are medieval time. That means after 8th century AD generally. So medieval period you can say. So D is none of them. D is the answer. With reference to the ancient Indian history, consider the following statements. Literary work: Devi Chandragupta, Bihana, then Hamira Mahakabya, Naya Chandra Suri, Midindapanna Nagarjuna, Nitiva Kyamitra, it is Somadeva Suri. How many above pairs are correctly matched? Look first, this is wrong. This Nagarjuna, Midindapanna Nagarjuna, this is wrong. Next is Devi Chandragupta, this is wrong. These two options, 2 and 4 options will be right, so only 2 is the answer. Okay, only 2 will be the answer. Factual questions from ancient India. Soul are not the only property of animal and plant life, but also rocks, running water, many other unnatural objects not looked on as living by other religious sects. The above statement reflects one of the core beliefs of which one of the following religious sects in ancient India? It is Buddhism, Jainism, Shaivism or Vaishnavism. Running water, natural. See, Buddhism do not talk about soul, so first statement is obviously wrong, right? Property of animal, plant life, but also rocks and running water. Rocks and running water and many other natural objects. So it is the Jainism generally who thinks natural objects have also life. So B is the answer. 47, B is the answer. Okay. Next question. Who among the following rulers of Vijayanagara Empire constructed large dam across Tungabhadra river and a canal come aqueduct several kilometers long from the river to be the capital city? So who is the answer for the capital city? You can apply logic here. If you know one king who is the most, simply question who is the most famous king of Vijayanagara Empire, it is the Devaraya I. By logic also ask why he is a particular king is famous, because he has done very good works, that's why he is famous. As we know, the only ones among all, none of them are famous like Devaraya I, so A is the answer. He has constructed so many rivers, because you cannot study the acting. Generally, in case in the source of books, it is given about Devaraya I. It's not all others. Rulers are not mentioned in detail, that's why A is the answer. Okay, Devaraya I, because he is the prominent ruler of Vijayanagara Empire. Next is, who among the following rulers of medieval Gujarat surrendered died to Portuguese? Okay. Medieval question, so here it is the factual question. Bahadur Shah is the answer, C is the answer. surrendered to Portuguese. And which one of the following acts of the Governor General of Bengal designated as the Governor General of India? It's the Regulating Act or Quits India Act, Charter Act or Charter Act of 1833. It's a previous year questions. Again, it is asked, very common question. All the Charter Acts, Quits India Acts, Regulating Act, they are always important. Many times, many questions are asked from those regions. So obviously, D is the answer. 50D is the answer. Considering the following statements in relation to Jani Suraksha Yojana, it is a safe method of intervention of the state health departments. Its objective is to reduce maternal and neonatal mortality. Okay, neonatal mortality. It aims to promote institutional delivery among the poor pregnant women. Its objective to improving public health facilities to sick infants up to 1 year of age. Facilities to sick infants. Oh, so obviously this option is wrong. Reduce the maternal and neonatal mortality. Obviously, Jani Suraksha Yojana, that will reduce the maternal and neonatal mortality. This is right. Yes, promote institutional delivery. This is right. This is ICDS, integrated health, child healthcare, integrated. Sorry, I don't remember. It is a state sponsored scheme, so obviously ICDS is a state sponsored scheme. It started in 1975, around 1970s it is started. So it is a state centrally sponsored scheme, that means both the state government and central government are cooperating. So two options will be right here, 2 and 3 are the right answer. B is the answer. Next. Consider the following statements in the next question. Consider the following statements. Carbon fibers are used in the manufacture of components used in automobiles and aircrafts. Carbon fibers. Next question is, carbon fibers once used cannot be recycled. Whose statement is you can solve this question by logic. Why? Because when I have said that if you see can, then that is right. So obviously when you see cannot, it can never happen. How can it can never happen? It can be recycled. Everything can be recycled. In future technologies, many things can be recycled. So this statement is wrong. So only one is right because they are used in manufacturers. Obviously carbon fibers are used. It can be used. Anything can be used anywhere. So one only is the answer. It can be used in the filter also, in the filter of automobiles. So A is the real answer. You can solve this question by logic. Then 54, consider the following actions. Detection of car crash and collisions which results in the deployment of airbags almost instantaneously. Detection of accidental free fall of laptop towards the ground which results in the immediate running of the laptop with hard drive. Detection of the tilt of smartphone which results in the rotation of display between portrait and landscape mode. Portrait and landscape mode. What can be done by accelerometer? If you apply logic to these questions, all the 3 questions are of similar types. So either it's all about detection, in case that means immediate action, right? So either all of them will be right or all of them will be wrong. Generally, or because all the statements are similar types. Acceleration means, accelerate means sudden, right? Accelerate, that means sudden, increase. So these all are sudden steps. It may be in case of airbags or it may be in case of displacement, the display of rotation of display, or detection of accidental free fall, that is also sudden activity, and acceleration means sudden increase. So all the three options are right. Just by applying logic also you can solve this question. Okay. Then question number 55. With reference to the role of biofilters in recirculating the aquaculture system, consider the following statements. Biofilters provide waste treatment by removing uneaten fish feed. Just a second. So, biofilters, recycling, yes, biofilters, for example, like your crabs, like your snails, they are called as biofilters. So, they are provide the waste treatment, yes, biofilter means generally consider they will provide waste treatment. Simple question first is right. Then biofilters convert ammonia present in the fish water to nitrate. Biofilters increase the phosphorus as nutrient for fish in the water. So, generally they do the good things. So, saying positive things. So, it this ammonia waste that is converted into nitrate by biofilters. So, all the three options will be right. You may confuse between 2 and 3, but generally this 1 and 3 are obviously right by logic, because generally when biofilter, when we say biofilter, generally they do the positive things to the aquatic environment. So, write all the positive things. If all are positive things it is mentioned, then generally all are 3. So, C is the answer. Objects in space description. What are objects in space descriptions? Cepheids, giant clouds of dust and gas in space, nebula stars which brighten and dim periodically, pulsars, neutron stars that are formed when massive stars are out in the fuel and collapse. All the three are right. Right? They are in news many times. Right? This pulsar, nebula. So it's a common question in current affairs. So all the options are right. Next, which of the following countries has its own navigation system? Own navigation system. You can also answer this question by logic, right? How you can answer this question? Simply, own navigation system is an advanced level of technological development, and we don't see Australia, Canada or Israel have any advanced level of development in space sector, right? So generally only one option is there, that is Japan. So that is Japan. Japan is a technological development with respect to space. Regionally China, Japan, European Space Agency, or in case of Russia or USA, or sometimes in India as well. So Australia, Canada, Israel will never say any space mission in such type of countries. They are not that much strong in case of space sector. So obviously D option is most appropriate, and by logic, if you could have solved this question, D is the answer. Consider the following statements. Ballistic missiles are jet propelled at subsonic speeds through their flights, while cruise missiles are rocket powered only in the initial phase of the flight. Next is Agni V is a medium range supersonic missile. You can solve this question by logic, because here it is only said. No, cruise missile it's not in the only stage. It is wrong. All the ballistic missiles are propelled at subsonic speed, but it's not the this is not the only initial phase. Agni V is a medium range supersonic cruise missile. No, Agni V is a ballistic missile. IGMDP, Integrated Guided Missile Development Program. Agni, Prithvi, Trishul, Nagar, Nag, these all are under these all are ballistic missiles. They are not cruise missiles. So second statement is also wrong. So neither one nor D answer is the answer regarding these two cases. Next, Next is question number 59. Okay. Gold mining activity is a square of mercury pollution in the world. Yes, mercury can be emitted from the gold mine. It can be emitted. There is a toxic gases. It can be emitted from anywhere, because we don't know the gold mine where gold is present. It's present in the earth, and mercury can be emitted from. We don't know the other composition, right? Then coal-based thermal power plants cause mercury pollution. Yes, plants they can also produce mercury pollution. Many plants they cause mercury pollution. There is no known safe level of exposure to mercury. There is no known safe level exposure to the mercury. So mercury is always harmful. There is no particular exposure which is right for you. It is always harmful. So all the three options are right. Right, because it is a highly potential greenhouse gas, very high potential greenhouse gas. So all the statements are right here. Then question number 60. With reference to green hydrogen. With reference to green hydrogen, consider the following statement. Green hydrogen was on news. Obviously, we have discussed this generally many questions from green hydrogen in our YouTube channel. It is very important because government is taking its name again and again. It can be used. See, there is always can be. I have said whenever there is can, then chances it is right. It is right here. Can be directly as a fuel international combustion. Yes, can be used directly. It can be blended with the natural gas. It can be blended. Yes, it can be blended. It can be used as a hydrogen fuel as around vehicles. Yes, it can be blended. So all the three statements are right. Just by utilizing the logic, whenever you see can, may, might, these statements are right. This is also right. Okay. Next question is factual, that is from math. Consider the following countries: Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Hungary, Latvia, Lithuania and Romania. Which two countries share border with Ukraine? Romania and Bulgaria, they share border with Ukraine and also with the Black Sea. So Lithuania, Latvia are not present in those regions. If you have seen the map of Ukraine, so only 2 is the answer. Map based question expected from this region, because Ukraine and Russia, Ukraine, because of Russia Ukraine war, those areas is the most important of hotspot of geopolitics. So it is the answer. With reference to Earth's atmosphere, question number 62. With reference to Earth's atmosphere, which of the following statements is correct? The total amount of insolation received at the equator is roughly about 10 times than received at the poles. This is wrong. The amount that is received at the pole is very negligible. So it is not 10 times, it is more than that. Infrared rays constitute roughly 2/3 of insolation. How it is possible? Because there is electromagnetic waves, there is electromagnetic waves, there is ultraviolet rays, there are many rays. So how can be constitute 2/3 of the rays are infrared, right? Infrared rays are generally that causes the heat waves. Infrared waves are largely absorbed by the water vapor that is concentrated at the lower atmosphere. Yes, why it is right? Infrared waves are associated with the heat waves, right? Now generally water vapor is a big source of greenhouse gas. Whenever there is water vapor, which you call as humidity, large presence of water vapor. Why? Because they absorb the infrared rays that cause heat. So C is the answer. Infrared waves is a part of visible spectrum. No, visible light wavelength is different from infrared light. Visible light, X-rays, ultraviolet rays, all have different wavelengths. So it cannot, we cannot see infrared rays. Can we see infrared rays? No. We can only see the electromagnetic rays. That is only see the light rays, the visible spectrum. We cannot see the infrared spectrum. So obviously D is the answer. D is wrong, and C is the answer. Next, question number 63. Consider the following statements. Consider the following statements. The soil in tropical rainforest is rich in nutrients. The high temperature and moisture in tropical rainforest cause the dead organic matter of the soil decompose quickly. Which of the following statements is correct and which of the first statement is incorrect? Why? The first statement is incorrect because in tropical areas, because of high rainfall, usually leaching happens. So in the upper layer we do not, the surface runoff is high, so upper layer it is not rich in nutrients. First statement is wrong, but second statement is correct. Why? Because the high temperature and moisture, if there will moisture and there will high temperature, obviously that will lead to decomposition. There are food also, if high temperature occurs easily during the hot summer days, it will decompose easily. And also if there is rainy, in case of moisture, anything we keep outside, usually it will moisture content when become most, that becomes decomposed easily, right? So D option is right, because dry foods they stay for long time, wet foods they decompose easily. So whenever there is water vapor, that will decompose easily. Consider the following statement. Statement 1: the temperature constant between continents and oceans is greater during the summer than the winter. The specific heat of water is more than that of the land surfaces. Which of the following statements are correct? Right? Temperature constant between continents and ocean is greater during summer than the winter. Yes. Why constant is more? Because water specific heat is more than that of land surface. During the daytime, you know that the ocean surface that remains cool. How? Why? Because water have a high specific heat capacity. It takes a long time for water to be hot. And when it is hot, water surface is hot. Generally during daytime, even in case of the sea, water is not hot, it is cool. So the temperature difference between the land and the ocean, that is always higher during the summer times, because water has high specific heat. So both the statements are correct and statement 2 is correct explanation of the statement 1, right? Because if one is right, then second is also right. If second cannot happen, one cannot also happen. So either both are wrong or both are right. This may happen. There is no statement which says that both are wrong. So at least one statement is right. And if one statement is right, if this is right, then this will be also right. So both the statements are generally right and it is correct explanation of statement 1. So A is the answer. Okay. Next question is about seismograph. It's a normal geography question, basic geography, that in a seismograph, P waves are recorded earlier than the S waves, and P waves, and the individual particles vibrate to and fro in the direction of wave propagation, where in S waves the particles vibrate up and down at right angles with the right angles of the wave propagation. So generally it is saying that P waves are to and fro means in the direction means it is the transverse wave, and the S waves are longitudinal waves. So 1 only is the answer. Okay, 1 only is the answer. Next is with reference to coal-based thermal power plants in India. Consider the following statements. None of them uses seawater. How can you say it? have you simply the same logic comes here. Is it possible for UPSC to inquire about all the thermal power plants? No. So obviously they are, so you with reference to the coal based thermal power plants, okay, let's see, coal based thermal power plants, which of the following statements are correct? Yes, in case of thermal power plants, okay, generally it is used for how in thermal, now you have to think about the construction of a thermal power plant. Usually they uses water, they uses the coal that that increase the temperature of water and steam is produced, and by that steam the turbine rotates and electricity is constructed, electricity is produced. So generally the prime requirement of a thermal power plant is water state, there is water availability. You may take the example of NTPC, that is near the Brahmanik river. Why? Because it requires huge amount of water. And it is very difficult, we do not have any technology by which we are using seawater. We are not using seawater anywhere except for the production of salt generally. So first statement will be right. Second statement also will be right, and none of them is privately owned. Obviously we have only NTPC. So all the three statements are correct. Then Ulvachia method, this was in news. Ulvachia method, it was a current affairs. We have discussed in internal current affairs. It is controlling the viral diseases spread by the mosquitoes. This is right. Converting crop residues to packing material. Crop residues to packing material. This is not. There is no biodegradable plastics. Producing biochars. First statement is right. It was in current affairs. This year current affairs, famous current affairs. So A is the right answer. You may see our current affairs discussion. We have discussed it. Then spreading finely ground basalt rock on the farmlands extensively. Consider the following activities. Question number 68. Spreading finely ground basalt rock on the farmlands extensively, increasing alkalinity of oceans by adding lime, capturing carbon dioxide released by the various of industries and pumping it to abandoned subterranean mines in the form of carbonated waters. How many activities are often considered and discussed? Considers and discussed about carbon capture. That means what is the probability? Discussion means can it be discussed? Yes, it can be discussed. What is the probability? The spreading of finely ground basalt rock on the farmlands to absorb the carbons, right? For carbon capture, yes, this may happen. Increasing the alkalinity of soil by adding lime, yes, you can increase the alkalinity and absorb the carbon dioxide by adding lime. Capturing carbon dioxide released to the various industries and pumping it to the abandoned subterranean mines. It is a common practice. C is a common practice. So all the statements, three statements are right here. Next question is aerial metagenomics. What is aerial metagenomics? Here we have two keywords. One is aerial, that is generally about air, that is in a particular from space, right, from air medium, aerial view, that means from upward view. Second keyword is metagenomics, it's about genomics, right? So in which option we found the most? First is collecting DNA samples from air in a habitat. First is air, it is right, and also DNA samples. This it is related to, these keywords are related to both. It may happen. Understanding the genetic makeup of avian species in a habitat. Genetic makeup is fine, but it is not particular talking about avian species, mean bird species. It is not particularly related to bird. It is not talking about, it is taking out aerial view, but not bird particularly. So only one keyword is getting satisfied. This is wrong. Using airborne devices, collect broad samples from the moving animals. Moving animals, broad samples from moving animals. Is it possible to collect broad sample from the moving animals? So, and that is not particularly about genome. Collection of blood is not particular about genomics, not about DNA. So, one, this genomics option keyword is not getting satisfied. So, this statement is wrong. Sending drones to inaccessible areas to collect plant and samples from land surfaces and water bodies. Sending drones to inaccessible areas to collect plant samples. So, whether these two satisfied, it is genomics is satisfied. It is a plant samples, not talking about the genomics, right? So, generally if any statement which is talking about the both the keywords, it is A option. So, 69A is the answer. You have to, in case of any phrase, you have to mark the keywords. So, A option is the right answer. Then microsatellite DNA. Next question is about microsatellite DNA. Is used in case of which of the following? Studying the evolutionary relationship among the various species of fauna, stimulating stem cells. See, if you study the evolutionary relationship, how will you study? By observing different genetic species, by the genetic composition. That's the only way we can study the evolutionary. So it's about DNA, it's right. Then it's not about stem cells. Stem cells are different, right? So that is not about your genomics. Stem cells are the some certain cells of our body that can multiply. So it's not about DNA. Promoting clonal propagation of horticultural plants. It may happen, horticultural plants, but it's talking about microsatellite. Next is assessing the efficacy of drugs by conducting series of drug trials in the population. It's not about, it's about DNA, it's not about drug trials. DNA and drug trials are different. So D option is wrong, obviously. So one, you may confuse between A and C, but A is the answer. Studying the evolutionary relationship among various species of fauna, so A is the answer. Then consider the following statements with reference to India. According to micro, small and medium enterprises, MSME, those investments plants machinery between 15 crore to 20 crore. Now it is very high because in case of Shishu Taran Yojana it is giving around 10 lakhs. So MSME industry, so far statement is wrong. All branch loans, yes, MSE loans that qualified for priority sector. Priority sector means around 40% of the banks, for example, in case of domestic banks, around 40%, they have to give a particular amount of their total fund for some specific purposes, like for example MSME, agriculture, education. They are called priority sector of banking. So two only is the, so only one option is right. Which of the above statements, given the above statements are correct? So one only is the answer. With reference to central bank digital currencies, consider the following statements. Question number 72. It is possible to make payments in a digital currency without using US dollar or SWIFT system. A digital currency can be distributed with a condition program into it so that the time frame spending it. No, it is unlimited. The basic feature of CBDC is that you do not require any mobile, any smartphone, any smartphone or any internet connection. You don't require it. It will stay there forever. There is no loss. There is no depreciation. So statements, which of the following statements are given are correct? 2 is wrong. So 1 only is the right answer. It can happen. It's possible. Obviously, it is possible. Digital currency means that why we have a digital currency, so that easy transaction can happen. So it is possible. It can possibility. So while logic also you can say that it is 1 only is the right answer. In the context of finance, the term beta, what is this beta that refers in the context of finance? The process of stimulation of buying and selling of an asset from different platforms. Simultaneously buy and sell assets from different platforms. This is wrong. Investment strategy. Beta means alpha, beta, gamma. These are some values like, right, numeric values like. And type of system risk. Beta risk versus reward. The investment strategy, portfolio manager, balance risk versus reward. It is strategy. D is the answer actually. A numeric value that measures the fluctuation of stock to the changes in the overall stock market. That is beta. Beta is it's not a process. Generally beta it's a noun. It's not a process. So here D option is a noun. Rest is a process. It's a process. It's a strategy. Next is it is a risk. It's a type of risk. So it may be C may be right. It's a noun. So C or D, between C and D, D is the answer. At least 2 options can be eliminated. D is the answer in case of beta. It's a noun, not a verb. Consider the following statements. The self-help groups program was originally initiated by the State Bank of India by providing microcredit to the financially deprived. Okay. In an SHG, members of a group take responsibility of a loan that individually members takes. Regional rural banks and scheduled commercial banks support SHGs. Yes. 2 and 3 options are right. Yes. These 2 options, they support SHG, self-help groups in rural areas. Obviously, individual takes loan and the community there takes the responsibility. So 2 and 3 options, so only 2 answers are right answers here. Okay. They took the loans collectively, and that's why everybody is taking responsibility. When a particular individual is taking that loan, he will sign for that, and all of them will take the responsibility because they will get the return. Then consider the following statements in statement 1. Consider the following statements. Statement 1. India's public sector healthcare system largely focuses on curative care with limited preventive, promotive and rehabilitative care. Statement 2. Under India decentralized approach, the healthcare delivery, the states are primarily responsible for organizing health services. Yes, healthcare is a state subject. So it's a so states are primarily responsible. It is right. India is public sector healthcare system largely focused on curative care. Obviously, we are focusing on curation, on curative focuses largely, not entirely. If the question they are written entirely, then the question would have become wrong. They are written largely. And preventive, promotive, rehabilitative care are, they are not focused that much. We are taking medicine, that's a curative care. We are getting operation, this curative care. So both the statement 1 and statement 2 are right. Under a decentralized approach, and why it is happening? The reason is it is the states. sorry. Because states has limited capacity, they cannot provide all the services. And that's why so statement 1 is, both are correct and one is correct, and that's the reason why states are not able to do it. But generally, although statement 2 is correct, now why India is not focusing on it? Why India is not focusing on preventive or promotive care? Although in the implementation step it is state is responsible, generally the major policy formulation are done by the central government. So holding only the state government responsible for this will not be the appropriate answer. So both 1 and statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, and statement 2 is not the correct expansion of statement 1. So B is the answer with respect to it. Okay. We cannot hold state government only responsible for that. That's why B option is not the correct answer. It's not the. That's why B option is that is not the correct explanation. Next, question number 26. According to United Nations World Water Development Report 2022, India extracts more than quarter of the world's groundwater withdrawal each year. India needs to extract more than a quarter of the world's groundwater each year to satisfy the drinking water and sanitation needs to almost 18% of world population living in this territory. So first statement is right. India extracts more than a quarter of the world's groundwater withdrawal each year. But is the groundwater extraction is the only way? Now the question is that by logic you can ask her, how will fulfill your water requirements? It is the only way by how can you will only, it is the groundwater by which you can only solve the problem of water requirement? No. You can also go for the rainwater harvesting, right? You can also filter the utilize the judicious use of water also. But that judicious, that means loss of water should not happen. In so fast statement, or you can also go for other measures, for example in reducing the water intensive crops. So you cannot say that second statement it needs to extract water to satisfy its needs. So second statement is wrong. First statement is, so statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. To satisfy our water needs, we cannot be solely dependent on groundwater. We are dependent on groundwater at present, but we can fulfill our needed needs by other means as well. So second statement is wrong. Next. Consider the following statements. According to the Constitution of India, the central government has duty to protect the states from internal disturbances. The Constitution of India exempts the states from providing legal counsel to a person being held for a preventive detention. According to the Prevention of Terrorism Act 2002, confession of the accused before the statement cannot be used as evidence. It is not according to the quota. It is so. This is wrong. It is a principle of natural justice that in case of evidence act, that a person self-incrimination, that is a inference of our constitution also. Confession of the accused before the court, it cannot be considered as evidence because that can be done by the force of the police also. So 3 statement is wrong. So only 2 will be right. First 2 are rights. Yes, it is a right of a particular individual. Doesn't matter because unless and until you are proven in the court, you are not guilty. It is the responsibility of state to provide you legal justice. That's why so states are not forced that they will not provide legal counsel. So first and second statements are right. So only 2 options will be right. Both 1 and 2 will be right. So B is the right answer. Then question number 78. Sorry, 78. Which of the following countries have been suffering from decades of civil strifes and food shortages and was in news for recent past for its severe famine? It was in news. So it is Somalia, that is present near the horns of Africa. Near the horn of Africa, we have Ethiopia, Somalia, Eritrea, Djibouti. This Somalia was in news because of long famine, right? Severe famine. That's why D is the answer. Then question number 79. In India, Biodiversity Management Committee is a key to realization of objectives of the Nagoya Protocol. The Biodiversity Management Committee has important fluctuation functions determining the actions and benefit of sharing, including the power to levy collection fees. Yes, obviously they can levy some collection fees. This committee, they can, a particular committee, they can work for collection of fees on the access of biological resources. So first statement is right. Nagoya Protocol is also sharing of biological resources. So both the statements are right. Statements are right. Both 1 and 2 are right answer. Okay. Next question. Consider the following statement in respect to election to the President of India. The members are nominated to either house of the Parliament or Legislative Assembly of States are also eligible to include in the Electoral College. No, legislative members are not included. First, it is basic thing. Next, higher the number of electoral assemblies, higher the vote of each value. This is right. Similarly, so this is also similar statements. So one is right, all are right. The value of each vote of MLA position is higher than that of one suppose. These are similar statements. So all of the things are right, and one is wrong. So only 3 options are right because all of 3 they have similar things. If second is right, third is right, fourth is right. But first statement is wrong because it is mentioned nominated members are not included in the Electoral College. So C is the answer. Then with reference to Indian history, Alexander Rhea, A.S. Lockhart, Robert Sewell, James Burgess and Walter Elliot were associated with archaeological excavations or establishment of English press in colonial India. No, there is no such English press. James Augustus Hickey has established English press, and they are not establishing press. Establishment of churches in princely states. Somebody says some churches are not in news. Do you read churches, establishment of churches? No. Construction of railways in colonial India. Generally archaeological excavations. This is the most appropriate answer. Just by simple common sense you can write it. You can answer this. Generally in case of suppose Alexander Birmingham, generally in case of excavations we remember their name. So all are related to archaeological excavations. So A is the answer. Next 82, question number 82. Consider the following pairs: Besnagar Saivite grave sign, Bhaja Buddhist grave sign, then Sita Navasal Jain's grave sign. How many of the pairs are correctly matched? They are very factual questions. Only 2 options are correctly matched. You can check them. Okay, B is the answer. Factual question, no logic can be applied here. If you remember, you can answer, otherwise not. Next is consider the following statements. 7th August. Yes. 7th August are the declared as a National Handloom Day. It was 1905 that the Swadeshi movement was launched in the same day. See, handloom has no relationship with Swadeshi. Swadeshi means anything manufactured in India can be called as Swadeshi. So handloom cannot have any relationship with Swadeshi. 7th August, it is right. This is also right that Swadeshi movement was launched on this day. But it is not origin because handloom is a part of Swadeshi, but that is not whole Swadeshi. So both 1 and 2 statements are correct, and but it is not a correct explanation of A. Okay. Then question number 84. Consider the following statement in respect of national flag of India according to the Flag Code of India 2002. One of the standards of sizes of national flag of India is 600 mm to 400 mm. Statement 2, ratio of the length of the height of the flag shall be 3:2. Yes, this ratio is right. There is no such standard sizes of national flag. So statement 2 is correct, and but statement 1 is incorrect. So D is the answer. Consider the following statements in respect of Constitution Day. Constitution Day 26 November, right? Constitution Day. The Constitution Day is celebrated in 26 November every year to promote constitutional values among the citizens. Obviously it is right. The 26 November 1949 Constituent Assembly India set up. It's a very common question, anybody can solve this. This statement is obviously wrong because as the Constitution drafting committee is set up, then the Constitution is drafted, then it is passed, then we will observe the Constitution Day because the Constitution is already finalized. So obviously first statement is right and second statement is wrong. How can this is possible? Right? It is started from cabinet mission. So first statement is correct and second statement is incorrect. C is the answer. C is the answer. Next, question number 86. Switzerland is one of the leading exporters of gold in terms of value. Switzerland is second largest gold reserves in world. Second largest gold reserves. Say second largest means it's wrong because height second we would have known it. It's not so much famous. It is one of the leading exporters. So it is a fact. In fact can be easily changed. I have said fact can be easily changed. It is easy to easily change. Easily. Suppose Switzerland may be 1, 2 or 3 or if you don't know anything about the question, it's a very simple logic. Even if it is 1, it is leading exporter, even if it is 2, leading exporter, 3 is also leading exporter, even 5 you can call it leading exporter, generally. In the second statement, it is a fact, it can be changed easily. So statement 1 is correct and statement 2 is incorrect, C is the answer. Next question. Consider the following statements. Statement 1. Recently, United States of America and European Union have launched Trade and Technology Council. US and the EU claim that through this they are trying to bring technological progress and physical productivity under their control. See this control word. I will take control. I will control of what all this. No organization, no government will do a negative things like officially will not do negative things. Control is a negative word. Enable is a positive word. Enable means empowering. Control means you are taking everything under control. No organization will have the objective like that or official objective like that. So second statement is obviously wrong. First statement is right because it is a fact based question. First statement is also a fact. They may have changed it, but there is no option that both the statements are wrong. So either if one is wrong, other must be right. So that's why I am saying even if I don't know about this question, for example, even if you don't know anything about this question, you can say that first statement is right because second statement is obviously wrong. So C is the answer. Okay. Next question is question number 88. India accounts for 3.2% of global export of goods. Many local companies and some foreign companies operating in India have taken the advantage of foreign production linked incentive schemes. Yes, it's a common thing. It's a common statement. It's not a particular fact. Production linked incentive. Many firms have taken it. For example, in case of car manufacturing, production incentive is given, because by that we can empower a particular sector. In case of India, by that we can empower our Atmanirbharshil Bharat. But first statement, it is easy to change these statistics. So first is wrong. I have said that whenever there is easy to change the statistics, it is wrong. So second, and nobody knows exactly. So second statement is correct and first statement is incorrect. D is the answer. Okay. Then question number 89. The Stability and Growth Pact of European Union is a treaty. Stability and Growth Pact. Right? Stability and growth. These are two keywords. It limits the level of budgetary deficit of the countries of the European Union. If the budget will increase, then generally the economy will become unstable. Makes the countries of European Union share their infrastructure facilities. There is no, if you will share your infrastructure facilities, what big thing will happen? Nothing. I have this much road. What will happen? Nothing. So obviously this statement is wrong. Enables the countries of the European Union to share their technologies. Yes, this may happen. This may happen, right? But the thing is that it is talking about stability and growth. So it's not talking about technological transfer, it's a specific thing that may promote growth. But generally technological transfer is already there, because European Union is there is close interrelationship between the countries. So first option is right. At least you may get confused with the three, but generally first statement is right. So only one will be right. So you can be conflict between at least two options are eliminated. All the three are not wrong, and this D cannot happen. So you can conflict between 2 and 1. Answer is 1. A is the answer. Okay. Next question is, recently all the countries of United Nations have adopted the first ever compact for international migration, the Global Compact for Safe, Orderly, Regulated Migration. The objective of the commitments stated in the GCM are binding on all the member countries. The GCM addresses internal migration or internally. Okay, it's completely solved by logic. This question can be completely solved by logic. First thing that just here all the countries. All, I have said that if there is all, then a question is wrong. First statement is wrong. Second, it is binding. You will find very few commitments, for example Kyoto Protocol, or very few international commitments are binding. Why? Because everybody is a sovereign country. Ultimately what India will do, it will be decided by the India. So you cannot, usually just by signing, it can never be binding unless you ratify it. And there are very few, rarest of rare cases these are binding. So first it is wrong. Nothing is binding on the members. As internal migration is talking about external migration. See, the question is about external migration. Internal migration, it's not about talking about internal migration. So start statement is also wrong. So none of these are right. D is the answer. Okay. Then question number 91. Home guards are raised under the Home Guards Act of Rules and Central Government. The role of Home Guards is to serve the auxiliary service to the police maintenance internal security. It is right. It's a common thing. It's right. Role of Home Guards is right. To prevent infiltration border areas, coastal area, border wing of Home Guards battalions have been raised in some states. So no, generally it is a responsibility of the BSF. So 1, 2 option will be right. So 2 option will be the right here. B option is right, because especially international border, Home Guards are not usually use the state police or the Indian Coast Guards or the BSF. So two options, only two will be the right answer. Then question, then is with reference to India, consider the following pairs. Action is unauthorized. What is the action and act which is covered? What is the act? Unauthorized wearing of police and military uniforms. Official secret act? No. This is wrong. Official secret act basically especially that the critical decisions or information cannot be made openly. So it's a common thing. It cannot, no relation to official secret act. It's not a critical information. Knowing or misleading, otherwise interfering with, misleading, knowingly misleading in the Indian Evidence Act. Then celebratory gunfire which can lead to endanger personals. Celebratory gunfire which can endanger the personnel. It is Arms Amendment Act 2009, and knowingly misleading the otherwise interfering with. So generally you may confuse. All the three are not the option. So as first is wrong, all the three cannot be done. First option is eliminated. You may got confused with 3 and 2. Knowingly misleading, otherwise interfering with. It is not Evidence Act. Evidence it is not about evidence. It is so obviously Evidence Act deals with how evidence will be produced before the court. So it's not a evidence. It is just a judicial process. If you mislead the court, then court will take action on the contempt of court. So third is obviously right, because this celebrity firing is very responsible, that is risky, that is not allowed. So A is the answer. Only one is the answer. Then question number 93. Regions often mentioned in the news. Which of the following are news? Yes, again the same logic I have said. Whenever there are facts, then there are chances that will be wrong. All of these are facts. Nagorno-Karabakh region, that is about Azerbaijan. Kherson Zaporizhia, that is Ukraine. So this statement is wrong. This is also wrong. This is also wrong. All are wrong. Kherson Zaporizhia, Luhansk Donetsk, that is related to Ukraine area which are captured by Russia. Nagorno-Karabakh, that is Azerbaijan region. They are current affairs. So obviously all those statements are wrong because they are all are facts. Facts can be easily made wrong. D is the answer. Consider the following statement. Statement 1. See, if you know if you have information, you can apply. You can answer them. When you lack information, you will apply logic, right? Because that is the only way you can do it. Sometimes logic will be wrong, obviously, but in majority cases it will work. And as the syllabus is very huge, so you have only one. That is the only choice you have left with. You cannot study whole the things. It is not very difficult. That's why logic is the only way in which you can answer these questions. Then question number 94. Israel has established diplomatic relationship with some Arab states. With some Arab states, yes. Simply think there is some. Obviously, Israel has established relationship with UAE. So first statement is correct. Arab Peace Initiative made initiative by Saudi Arabia. No, this is wrong. Arab Peace Initiative is by China. This is not by Saudi Arabia. Second statement is wrong. Was signed by Israel and Arab League. No, there is. So they are starting this initiative. That is not signed by all the Arab leagues. It's made by China also. So statement 2 is wrong and statement 1 is correct. C is the answer. Consider the following pairs with regard to sports awards. Major Dhyan Chand Khel Ratna Award, Arjuna Award, Dronacharya Award, Rashtriya Khel Protsahan Puraskar. So what is Dhyan Chand Khel Ratna Award? That is for hockey. So it is spectacular, extraordinary achievement, sports person, not for all sports person. This is wrong. Arjuna Award for lifetime. This is right. Dronacharya Award for eminent coaches. That is right. So only 2 options. And Rashtriya Khel Protsahan Puraskar, it is not for contribution of the player sports person, not for contribution. Where sports person cannot be, so it is only two options will be the right answer, right? Only two options will be the right answer regarding question number 95. Okay. Then question number 96. Consider the following statements with respect to 44th Chess Olympiad. They are asking a question from sports. Last year also they have asked question from sports. So you see, it was the first time that Chess Olympiad held in India. Generally when the trophy, then is the official mascot is Thambi. The trophy of winning team is names is women's section is the Hamilton Russell's Cup, and the trophy of winning team in the open section is the Vera Menchik Cup. So first option is wrong, because the word first, whenever it is first or last, generally chances are it is wrong. Next is 3 and 4 are right. So only 2 is the answer. B is the answer. 96. 97, question number 97. Donbass region, Kachin region, Tigray region, again these all are facts and can be changed easily. So all of them are, which of the following statements are correctly matched? None of them are correctly matched. They are facts, they can be changed easily. D is the answer. All are wrong. Next. In the recent years, Chad, Guinea, Mali and Sudan are caught the international attention. Why they have caused the international attentions? Because there is successful crops in those areas, regime change in those areas. So D is the answer. These depends on rare earth materials. No, it is Congo. There is no China cannot establish 4 military bases at the same time. It's not a possible thing to do that in a single 1 year. Southern expansion of Sahara Desert. How a desert can expand? This is wrong. Risk or reach reposition of rare earth materials. No, it is the Congo. It is not the all of them. So it's successful crop. D is the answer. Consider the following heavy industries: fertilizer plants, oil refineries, steel plants, which is a significant role in decarbonizing many of the above industries. High green hydrogen. Where green hydrogen can be applied? I have said that any application, anywhere it can be applied. How can you say this plant it cannot be applied? UPSC is not doing so much research. So all the three can be applied. Anywhere green hydrogen can be applied, plays a significant role. Right? Science and technology, causes and application, obviously generally all of the above are the answers. Then the last question. Consider the following statements about G20. The G20 group was originally established as a platform for the finance ministers and central bank governors to discuss the international financial, economic and financial issues. This is right. The public infrastructure is one of the priorities. Yes, one of the priorities, not the only priorities. One of the priorities. Yes. So digital public infrastructure. So both the statements are correct here. So discussions, the GS discussion ended here. Now the CSAT discussion will be continued after some time, and all I can say that I hope you have done well, and the questions are highly analytical, some things are highly factual. UPSC is testing there this time the questions, some are they have made like the last time they have introduced the pattern, only one statements or two statement, 2 pairs or 3 pairs. That also continued. UPSC is like this, already it is unpredictable. So if you have done well, then start preparing for mains, and if you have not done well, then you should check your answers and you should start preparing for the next time prelims, because now you can realize that it requires extensive preparation, right? Huge extensive preparation is required. So analytical level need to be developed, and also factual information, huge amount of factual information also need. So this is all for today. Thank you.